Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool AllStars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Ketita Boren. How are you today, Ketita?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to hear
Awesome.
your story. I love your setup behind you.
Thank you.
Looking good. Okay. Let me get a little backstory about what was going on with you before you decided to start your preschool journey.
All right. Well, I was back to work. I had taken some time off from teaching 7th and 8th grade literature. And then I had my son and I stayed home for 3 years. And then I started first grade. And that's what I was doing before hearing about Joy.
I love first grade.
Yeah,
Did you like first grade better than
babies.
middle school?
Middle school was it was a cruise, like you were on cruise. It was a great administrator, so the kids' behavior was up on par.
Yeah,
and the teaching was just 2 subjects instead of 7.
Oh, that
so
is nice.
it was easy. But first grade babies, I mean, they're sweet.
I know. The elementary is so much work having to teach all the subjects.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Man, I just imagine going to middle school and those kids can be so mean sometimes. I feel like I'm not hardcore enough to handle the middle schoolers. I love the babies, but my brother teaches middle school and he just teaches one subject like over and over again all day. And I'm like, ooh, that's
it's amazing. And you do, you get into this. We're like, wait, guys, did I say this to you yet? And they'll say no. Okay, let me go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so were you in a public school?
I was in a private school.
Okay,
and I had 22 students. I did. I liked where I was, but it was rough especially this last year with COVID. It put us all to test. I was teaching both online and in person simultaneously. So it was a big challenge for me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can imagine. What state are you in?
I'm in California.
Okay. So you were teaching, you went through that year teaching, and what made you want to change things up?
Well, I actually have always it's been a dream to, one day I will homeschool. One day I will homeschool. And that day was just not coming.
Yeah.
So I just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I have to turn my attitude around and just make the best of it. I do love teaching. I love the classroom. I love the students. So I'm just going to immerse my own children into that reality. But I had that longing, and I have a lot of friends, in my church community and just even neighbors who are all homeschooling. So it's always kind of in your face, And so that's the longing was always there. And then am I already talking about Joy at this point?
Not yet. You're talking about why you wanted to. The longing was there.
Okay. Well, and that's it. The longing was there. It's always been there too.
So it didn't have to do with the job. It just had to do with what you wanted to do at home.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And how many kids do you have?
I had, I just finished my summer session, 23. It's amazing.
I mean, how many children do you have of your own? How
many children? Two, just two.
Into the world. 2 kids. Okay. And how old are they?
So I have a 5-year-old, just turned 5 last week, and my daughter is 7.
Okay. So did you go on a search, how can I homeschool and still make money? What brought you to Joy?
No, I actually had interviewed for positions to be an education specialist in the homeschool environment.
Okay.
And I hadn't gotten any of those, people would pick them up quick, or I was just not, called back type thing. And so while I was teaching those 2 years for first grade, I didn't seek anything out. It was just something that I had settled. I was just going to be happy with. But I subscribe for anything education. My email has 1,000 emails, and I'm always having to delete by the boatloads.
Yeah.
And so Joy's book came up on Facebook, and I didn't give it second thought. I thought someday in the future I might open a preschool. Sure, I want a free book. No intentions to ever transition out of first grade. Yeah. At least not in the immediate future. So that was the first way in which I met Joy's.
Facebook ad. Yeah. I feel like that's the story of most of us, Facebook ads. And that really also tells you how great Facebook ads are. Yes. Because we've all pretty much, so many of us have found her through a Facebook ad.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you got the book and you were like, man, I'm probably not gonna, but I might as well read this just for fun.
Yes. Okay. That's exactly right.
And then when you read it, you were like, oh my gosh, this is way easier than I ever thought I could do.
Yes, yes, that's exactly right. And it's the same, I've heard different interviews and same thing, you eat it up all in one sitting type thing. And the fact that it was even there, I thought, wow, this was really cool. It didn't end up being a scam.
Yeah,
I have the book right here.
Yeah.
And I read through it and I told my husband, about it. I shared that, look, this could happen in the future. I just need to go back and get my credentials for early childhood teaching. And then, this is such a good resource. That's how that happened.
Okay, awesome. I had pretty much the same exact story. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you go back for your early childhood credentials?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
Then, so this actually, I got her book a whole year before transitioning out of teaching. So I got her book the first year I went back to teaching in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, her ads would come up even on my inbox. And, I'm ashamed to admit, Joy, that I would delete, but with a bunch of other things too, because it was not in my reality. It was a resource for the future.
Yeah.
And so fast forward to, let's see, May-ish, maybe end of May, I got an email. And by that point, I was really worn down by just the teaching and how it all turned out with COVID and everything. And so I was really, spirits were low and I was thinking, man, I just need to be home. I want to be home. I want to homeschool my kids. And so the title was, What Are You Afraid Of? And I had ongoing conversations with my husband about my sentiments in general. And I just blew up on Joy. I was like, I am not afraid. I just started typing back. And I did not expect her to respond. And she did.
Was it in an email?
It was in the email.
Like one of those like big mass emails and you responded to it? Oh,
yes, exactly. And I thought, she's not going to read this. I'm sure she has someone reading, but I'm still going to respond and tell her, what I think. And I'm telling her all my frustrations. And, I actually need to ask her, was it you, Joy? But anyway, so then I get a response back and every point had a counter argument. And in the end was like, if you have any more excuses, I will blow them up. Let me. Girl.
That is so funny. That's so Joy too.
Yeah. Like excuses.
I love
They're
it.
not excuses. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of it all.
Okay. So then email. What were you feeling after that email? Were you like, what? Were you like upset? Were you like, damn, I got owned right there? And, what were your feelings there?
I felt curious, more intrigued, like, okay, if you can counter my argument. So that opened the door because, again, I would have never ever imagined transitioning out of the classroom at that point. But I told my husband, let's try summer. I could do some type of tutoring and then we could put her material to the test and, see how it would go and this and that. And so we decided we would check it out for the summer. And then on April, I forget what, the window of time, but the point is that end of April is when I did the challenge with everyone on Facebook. And then I also said, I'm going to invest just 1 month on that Facebook group. I'm not going to stay on because I don't have that kind of money. And I'm just going to, check this out. And so I went, head first and I tried all the things. I stuck to the challenge and I won the preschool in the box. And then I started thinking, okay, Lord, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so things were going really great. Also, the feedback was wonderful when I did my family script, which was the scariest thing any of us could do. You all know how we felt.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So we did that.
Local, right? Not online.
No, this was online.
Oh, yes, for online. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This was all online. And it was just it was unreal to get little inboxes saying, hey, I just saw your post about this. How do I enroll? And I thought, that's it. This is great. And I told my husband, this Joy is genius because the setup gets you to compromise your time, your resources, everything, because you get people enrolled and then you better produce and deliver,
Yeah, totally.
And so it was genius. And then just fast forward to now, the way we transitioned out was that just things were starting to show themselves. Like there had to be more commitment on my part with Joy's model. And then we realized that actually testing it out in the summer would not give us an idea of how the school year would go, regardless of how we wanted to see it. Because, I had a lot of families whose students currently attend the academy and they're going to go back, but they wanted to, avoid that summer slide and whatnot. Right. So it's a different audience altogether. And then it became just, heavy duty prayer time. And now we are walking uncharted waters and we'll see how it all turns out.
In. Oh, wow. I love that story. I love that story about you emailing Joy and her emailing back and how that's so awesome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so now let's jump right into what's the name of your preschool?
Friend school.
Love
Friend
it,
school.
love it.
Friend
Okay.
school.
And tell me how it works. Is you have like,
Okay.
is it there a special thing you focus on, or is it preschool skills all together? Jump in.
Yep. There's a thank you. So there are preschool skills, but it's very dynamic and lots of movement. It's fun. It's for preschool and kindergarten. And in fact, one of my preschoolers, they enrolled for my kindergarten class. So that's the new thing that I opened up. And I'm also offering a full immersion Spanish course for elementary age students. So I have those 3 groups.
Okay.
And the preschool and the kinder is dual immersion in Spanish as well. I became very proficient in translating any book you throw at me with my own kids, because when they were babies till this day, any book we own in English, I read it in Spanish. So that's kind of how I teach the class as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really fun, and we hit the skills that you want kiddos to pick up in those age groups. But just considering that early childhood aspect, I just want to make sure that we keep it super fun, super light.
Mm-hmm.
And feedback's been good. I've been very, very happy to teach online. I already miss the kids. It's been a week. I'm like, they're gone.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so now going back, how many kids do you have in your school? Did you have for your summer program?
Okay, so that's the 23 kiddos.
Okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. And how was it split up? What were your days and times and all that?
So I had 2, it was twice a week, and it was just for 45 minutes. And those 15 minutes make a world of a difference, because that's our social time, between 10 and 15 minutes. And we'd even play tag online. It was so cute with this guy, our little bear. And and kids, they'd say, hey, tell your mom to bring you over. And they made connections. And so it was so cool to see that they could create real friendships. And so twice a week for 45 minutes, and I had 2 classes. Then I opened up a first grade prep class, and that's what totaled out the 23. And so I had incoming first graders, and that was totally different than my preschool age. Everything presented in preschool was through songs, stories, and games that we had. Students didn't have any, work to do with me. It was just all, their eyes were on me the whole time. They were engaging the whole time. But with the kindergarten group who was going into first, they were doing stuff on paper, and I sent them a little kit so that they could, take a sticker and put it on their work when they were finished and follow along with me. And it was super cool too. So both experiences were fun.
That's awesome. And how much did you charge for that?
So Founding Families was $98, and then everyone else was $120.
Okay, awesome. So now, and how many kids were in each class then? Do you have max?
Oh yeah, 8. Sorry, yeah, 8 was.
Okay,
yeah, 8 kiddos.
Awesome. So what's going into fall? You're starting up fall classes?
Yes.
Have you resigned from the district?
I did. Yes. In fact, we had to make that final call again with all the commitment with Joy and Preschool AllStars. And so the last week of school, I spoke to my administrator and shared the opportunity that had come up. And that was also, actually it turned out to be even more organic than I thought. It was scarier to post my script on Facebook than it was. And they were just so supportive. Both administrators who I spoke to were really kind. And it was just kind of like, wow, that just happened. And here we are. So I'm not, in fact, my fellow teachers, they're all, they had pre-week. This was their pre-week. And so here I am trying to continue to organize my curriculum for my start date, which is September. It's crazy.
I was right there last year. All my fellow coworkers went back to school, and I was like, actually, my preschool's full, so I'm doing pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a really cool feeling, because I felt like some of them were like, oh, they kind of tried like, well, with everything going on, maybe you should stay an extra year. And I'm like, no, too late. I have to make it work. Sorry, I can't come back. And so I felt like there were a couple who were like, I don't know what she's gonna do.
I don't know.
How's it going over there? And I'm like, I'm full. I'm like, how's it going over there? And they're like, oh, we're teaching online. And I'm like,
so you had the good,
Yep. That's awesome. So are you keeping the same kind of schedule or the same kind of classes for fall?
Yes, unfortunately, I did have to move my kinder and my Spanish class. That's going to be from noon and 1 o'clock, because my son has a class at 9 a.m. So ideally, I wanted to keep it 9 and 10 and be done with the day. but I did have to move it. So preschoolers will be 9 and 10.
Okay.
And then kinder and Spanish classes will be 1 and 11.
Okay. And did you
12 and 1.
Did you do another founding family script?
I didn't. And you know what? I cannot believe that went over my head. In retrospect, I don't know what I missed, but I saw that come up in the Facebook group, and I thought, man, is it too late to do that now? And so I need to move along and get that going. In fact, I'll ask you, should I do that?
Well, I started before the founding family script even happened. So I never did a founding family script because I was like one of the first online groups to do it. And then I started my local, and I just kind of kept the same 8 to 10 kids throughout the year for online, because I didn't focus as much online because I was trying to run local. And
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I mean, do you have a lot of families that are carrying over from summer to fall?
Unfortunately, no. And that's where now I'm telling you, uncharted waters, because they're all going back to their academies.
Oh, well,
they were, a lot of them were enrolled students.
Do it again.
Okay, so do it again.
I mean, maybe we ask the group as well, but I would say if you don't have a lot, if you don't have, do it again. Yeah. Might as well. If it obviously worked the first time, right? And do you have so now you're homeschooling your kids, right? That's what you wanted to do the whole time. That's amazing. Yes. And do you have homeschool groups that they belong to?
So we also, by God's grace, we're able to go into a charter, because right now they're all, they're max on their numbers as well. But so we just got connected to one, and I'm hoping to share Friendschool with them.
Yeah, totally.
ASAP.
I would imagine that would be a great place to start, because one, homeschool. I mean, I came from a homeschool family. There were 6 kids in my family.
Wow.
Homeschool. We were in homeschool groups, and I know those homeschool families got a lot of kids. So whatever.
Yes.
The older kids, I'm sure they have preschoolers, and because you offer Spanish, and is it all elementary for the Spanish class?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could definitely get it in with those homeschoolers.
I'll be
break, because if they got a lot of kids, I just imagining, I don't remember that well, but I'm imagining it being really chaotic in my house with my mom trying to homeschool kids, and it would probably be really nice to set a preschooler online for a little bit while I did work.
Yes, exactly.
Kids. So I feel like that's a really good group to get in with.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be connecting with them, but it's been so much more fun than I even imagined. And I actually really enjoyed teaching online when we all had to go home, when in that March when we all went home. I enjoyed it, but this has been it's so sweet to see them. They're excited about everything. Anything you mentioned, I mean, they really are engaged, and it's been so helpful not to have them grab things, or I mean, I know many other teachers do it that way, and they're working it wonderfully, but just to have them engage, hands-free, it's been awesome. So really enjoyed my time with them.
I never sent kits or anything, mostly because I didn't get it together enough to do that. But it was kind of nice that I had all their attention without having to do a bunch of different stuff. But what kind of stuff are you putting in your kits for the for the other groups that you did make kits for?
So I wanted to make it very pretty. So I have this little guy, so he goes with them, and I got all my things from IKEA. So they have the little, it's a carry case that zips open, and that has all their little colors and all their materials in there, and also little paint sets. And then I'm going to insert any sheets for the kindergartners that we will use, just laminating them with dry erase marker. Nice. So, those staple sheets, whether it's a number, 120s chart or anything of that or number bond chart, they can fill in and work out with me. That's what I did with my other group.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And are you using slideshows like Google Slides or anything like that?
No, it's so funny because I was very intentional about bare bones. And when I see that kind of stuff, I admire it, and it looks really cool. And I think, wow, that person's doing it big. It's awesome. But I don't know that I want to take it there yet. I might. I was lured finally to get a document camera, which I use lots in the classroom.
Right.
But I wanted to keep it, like you were saying, you said I couldn't get it together enough to do this or that. Well, I very intentionally thought, okay, what is the most basic thing I can do that can still bring excitement for learning from kids, but I'm doing minimal prep. I mean, I'm coming from a high stress environment.
Right. Yeah.
I needed to make it so simple. So It's just my book right here.
Mhm.
I'm getting the document camera for kinder because I do like them to follow along. And for this kinder group, the sheets I did send home with them, I showed them those. I shared my screen as a PDF and just used the little annotation thing for them
Mhm.
to follow along with me. And so that was nice as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But again, I want to keep it simple.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was the same way. Mostly because like the prep, because I was,
Yeah.
and once I started teaching, because I opened my online first, which I
Hmm.
never planned to, and then COVID hit. I only planned to do local. I opened my online first, and then once I started teaching my local, I had like materials from my local class that I incorporated into my online. But
Hmm.
so it was a little easier, but I never did Google Slides because I'm terrible at all that. And I feel like the only thing, like the thing that kept it going was just like my energy. Like I was like
Yes.
so
Yeah.
over the top. Like my husband would like look at me from the door, like you are ridiculous, because I'm just
Hey,
like
it works, right? It
screaming.
works. That's
And yeah,
all
and
you.
the year I was like ginormously pregnant as well. So like I look back at those
Oh,
videos and I'm just
precious.
like whale, like dancing around the room. I'm like that was so ridiculous. But I mean, it kept
So
me
sweet.
excited. So I just couldn't
That's
get it together
awesome.
to do all the Google Slides and all that because
Yeah.
I don't know. The document camera, I would have loved to have that, and I didn't
Hmm.
do that either because I was like, if I buy a document camera, it will probably be one more thing that I'll be like, I don't know, it's not working. I don't know what I
Exactly.
thought
And
about.
that's, yes. And that's the thing. I did not want to deal with glitches. I mean,
Yes,
as it is,
because in the
I did have,
classroom, it's so annoying when you're like, okay,
yes.
I have this lesson and I have to use my Elmo, and
Hmm.
nothing's working. Okay.
Yep. Exactly. So
Yeah.
we know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. So,
So,
what was it like when you got that first sign up?
oh man, in fact, who was my first sign up? I have to think back of which person it was. Well, I have my earlier ones because I know all my founding family members. So it it was, I don't know, it was surreal, but at the same time, I was so preoccupied with surviving the school year
Hmm.
that I almost feel like I missed it. I missed the magic of it
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
And so, when I stop and look back, and we've had our moment of prayer and praise and thanking God for that blessing. But in the moment, it was just like, well, and another one, and someone actually signed up. This is
Yeah.
crazy, like money coming in through Zelle, and
Yeah.
it.
I know exactly what you mean because I was the same way, man. I feel like your story is like my story because I was literally just trying to end that school year, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm just like, it was crazy, and we all went online in March, and I was just trying to end that school year and really trying to open, by July, and then I'm like, okay, now
Yes.
we start an online preschool, I guess, and I was like freaking out to get that done and doing all this stuff. And then I started getting signups, and I'm like, I guess I have signups now, and I'm like, oh, my class is like, oh my god. And like it was just so crazy. It moved so quickly.
Yes.
It was just like a blur while you're trying to get everything like put into place. And
Yes, and joy doesn't let up on you. Like, I mean, there's no mercy. It's like you can do this, and you're
yeah,
thinking
oh
to
yeah,
yourself, "Yes, I can,
yeah,
and I am, and wow."
yeah. And then it
I
does, and
mean,
you're like, wow, I did do it.
yeah, it's it. It really, it's cool. You really get to see what all of us are capable of doing. I mean, it
Mhm.
is high stress, and there was a period after preschool in the box. In fact, it was so cool how that happened because I missed that moment, and I was coming back from work. It got late. I was supposed to be at the meeting with Joy, and I was like, okay, well, that didn't happen, and I'm not going to win anyway. I never win at raffles. And I'm like, oh well. So here I am coming home after work, so defeated and tired, and my kids are in my parents' trampoline jumping, and I'm like, hi guys. And then I just happened to open, after a while of being with the kids, to open and see, and I keep seeing my name tagged, and I'm thinking, no. And it was so cool. So yeah, it's a blur, and I was closing out the school year, a lot going on. So
That's
good
awesome.
experience
Well, I'm
nonetheless.
so glad you won. That makes me feel good. I've never won a raffle in my life either. So,
Oh,
oh
my
man.
sentiments go. I know. Every year, it was a running joke. So I'm like, guys, I've been here 7 years. What's going on?
Yep, I hear
Yeah.
that. I hear that. So, how would you say that Joy and the All Stars helped you set up your whole thing that you got going on?
I would say that they are just motivation on steroids. It truly is the most, and I've heard this in these interviews a lot too, but it is the most positive group of people that you will come into. And I realize we all have our mean streak in us, and we all, I'm sure, yet it's like Joy has has been able to create an atmosphere that you better not even go there. Don't even think about like throwing attitude or, being sarcastic. It is just high support all the way. And the sharing of resources and ideas is just like it should be, as teachers, and this,
Right.
we steal ideas from each other all the time, and it's fair game. So it feels the same with this group. And I just think like they've motivated me for sure, and just pushed me along through each step. And when you feel lost, they're there to help you out. I would have never finished Hub without 3 AllStars. And I mean, ever. I know Beth did awesome at the trainings over my head.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was rewinding videos and then trying to understand, but mine didn't look exactly like that. So I was confused. So again, the AllStars group and Joy have been key in moving me along and just motivating me.
Yeah, man, I agree. I don't know if I've ever like seen on the group like anything negative from anyone. It's like weird.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it is very weird because groups.
That's the only place I've ever been that's like that. Especially online.
Yeah.
To take out their claws online, but like I don't think I've ever seen anything like mean or discouraging on the AllStars group at all. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. So my favorite question to ask is, what would you say to any women who were where you were a year ago? You really wanted to homeschool, you wanted to be home with your kids, but you didn't think that was ever going to happen. And maybe you see this group or this lady, is she crazy? I don't know. She's emailing back. What would you say to them to encourage them to start their journey?
Okay, so first I would say it's not a scam, ladies. So that's the first hurdle. This is a real person, real skin and bones. She exists, and it's a real group of people, and you already have everything you need within you and your personality. You bring it. You just need a support system that will help you realize this, or even just confirm you. So this is the group of people that you want to connect with, because they're going to carry you through. It is going to get hard. Right now I'm in the hard stage. And there will be hurdles.
Get less hard, and then
Thank you.
Get less hard, girl.
You see ladies, you see this encouragement from Beth. Okay, so Bethany. So yeah, just it's something that you can trust and jump into. And also Joy is so prepared in the way that she serves everything up. It's clear, aside from the hub, because I'm not techie. Everything else is just spoon fed. You call this number and say these words and wait to hear what they tell you. It is scripted and beautiful, and it works. So yes, I just encourage you to trust the process, as they say.
Awesome. Yes, thank you so much for that. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I love your story, and I'm so happy for you that this is all, that you're getting what you want. You get to homeschool those kiddos. I hope you're enjoying homeschooling the kiddos as much as you.
I am. We start on Monday. Woohoo! I have a little flag over there that I'm not going to get. It says homeschool begins. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad it worked out for you, and I wish you all the best of luck. Keep coming back to the group to ask those questions, especially about the founding family. I think you should, but double check the group.
I'm going to check right after this.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.
If you loved today's episode, then you are going to love this. I want to give you a free gift in your hands. This is a copy of my book, Start Your Preschool, and I want to get it to you for free. Yes, I said for free. It is a 300-page book. It'll help you learn the step-by-step process to actually starting your local or your online preschool. Every single step that I walked myself through, as well as the thousands of women who've created their own successful preschools, have gone through the exact steps listed in this book. Not to mention, I also share 20 amazing women's stories, so you can see how not only did it work for me, but it works for amazing women just like you as well. I want to get you this free copy. Just go to freepreschoolbook.com or click the link in the description and we'll get it to you today. Again, just go to freepreschoolbook.com and we'll get it right to you.